Well, the wait is on to see whether the Quebec Superior Court will give a go-ahead for a proposed class action lawsuit alleging the federal and provincial governments have discriminated against and chronically underfunded Inuit children in the child welfare system. The statement of claim was filed by a trio of law firms earlier this week. Lindsay Richardson joins us to discuss. Lindsay, thanks so much for joining us. How many people are affected here and how far does this case reach?
Well, Melissa, this is technically a Quebec-specific application for class action affecting the Inuit living here in Quebec, but it could have far-reaching consequences, and that's because the statement of claim goes all the way back to 1975 for the signing of the James Bay and Northern Quebec Agreement, wherein it was decided that the provincial government and the federal government would share responsibilities when it came to financing child welfare services in the North. So according to this statement of claim, any child that was taken into the child welfare system since 1975 could be eligible for compensation, as well as their parents and caregiving grandparents, as well as anybody who may have been denied a service or could not access a service in the North because it was underfunded by one or both of these governments. So it is difficult to get updated statistics on how many Inuit children are in care today in 2022. But if we take it back to 2018 during testimony for the Viens Commission here in Quebec, the Director of Youth Protection overseeing the Nunavik region estimated that about 1 in 3 Inuit children had come into contact with child welfare services. So we're not just talking about hundreds of potential claimants here. There could be thousands of people impacted by this class action if it is approved.
It's, huge to think of the scope of this going back that far. Obviously, a lot of people could be affected. This always takes 1 or 2 to initiate the process. What do we know about the plaintiffs in this case?
So there are 2 applicants who are listed on the statement of claim, both women, both from Nunavik. Lucy Tukaluk is one. She now lives in Inuit. She was apprehended at birth and then later placed with a foster family where she alleges she was subjected to extensive physical and sexual abuse. The second applicant, Tanya Jones, she now lives in Montreal. She was apprehended about the age of 3 and cycled in and out of about 10 different foster homes, also alleging that she was exposed to sexual and physical abuse during that time. Both women today in 2022 are still living with the repercussions of these experiences, and they say they're speaking out now on behalf of anybody else that's experienced something similar, and also to prevent these situations from continuing on from this, interrupting this cycle of intergenerational trauma that could continue playing out if the proper changes aren't made.
So what happens next?
Well, because the federal government is obviously named as a respondent in this application, we reached out to the Minister of Indigenous Services as well as the Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations to see if they had a reaction. They say they're aware of the application and they're now consulting with their legal teams. As far as Quebec is concerned, we haven't had an on-the-record reaction. We did reach out to the lawyers representing the 2 applicants to see if they would speak to us more in depth about their experiences, and they're simply not ready yet. It's too sensitive. There's obviously a bit of a re-traumatization process and having to lay all these facts out and be deposed in a legal context. So it's a waiting game now. More stories will obviously come to light as this process plays out. And while there is not a set date for the Superior Court to either approve or turn down this class action application, we can say safely that the window will be about 60 days from the filing date, which was Tuesday of this week.
Perfect. Well, we will be checking back in with you as this progresses. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thanks, Melissa.